If distracting still feels rough, especially against Pebble, grabbers, and all those rares after the new spawn rate, this video is for you. Part 1 covered the basics, movement, rhythm, and how distracting is supposed to work. But this video, this is when things start getting messy. Pebble, grabbers, blackouts, dangerous rares. Because at some point, distracting stops being about running in circles and becomes about surviving chaos. If part 1 taught you how to distract, this video is the reason you survive when things actually get crazy. Well, let's start it off with the most scariest Twisted out there, Twisted Pebble. Now when I say that, Pebble is the hardest main in the entire game for most new Distractors. He's the fastest Twisted out there and you cannot outwalk him. Pebble must be kept tight on an island. If you take a wide path for even a single second, Pebble will catch you and you're hit. You want to walk very tight to your kiting spot. Because of his hitbox, Pebble will get slightly stuck on islands and objects, and that's what lets you survive. You don't want to fully break line of sight or LOS. Make sure he sees you before you go around to the other side of the island. This keeps him chasing you without losing him to others around you, or him turning around to the other side of the island and slapping you in the face. If you do this the right way, you can almost distract bro in your sleep. Also, in a typical run, you have 2 Distractors. One takes the majority of the Twisteds and the other takes Pebble all alone. Now if you ever end up with Pebble and a bunch of other Twisteds at the same time, that's a whole different game, and we'll save that for part 3. Scraps and her brother Goob are so annoying to most Distractors, especially in a Blackout. Scraps attacks as soon as she sees you, and her tail has an insane reach. As soon as you see a grabber, you want to hide behind an object. Loop Scraps around an island, count to about 15, and make sure you're on the other side when she attacks. Do that and she'll miss every single time. As a Distractor, you rarely run, but with grabbers, you have to make sure you run around the island when they're about to attack. After you get used to them, you kinda just get a feel of the timing. Goob is similar but low-key worse since he actually pulls you into him, throwing off your rhythm. His cooldown is 10 seconds. Loop him the same way, count to 10, and then take cover. Also, if I already have a grabber, I prefer to have my backup or teammates bring me all the other Twisteds. If there is no other option, wait until grabbers attack and then move around to find the others, but don't forget, you have to be aware of when they'll attack again. Grabbers can lose interest quickly, so make sure you re-aggro them, especially if a teammate is nearby doing a machine and you lose LOS. Real quick, I'm actually curious, what Twisted gave you the most trouble when you first started distracting? Pebble? Goob? V? Let me know because I have a feeling Pebble is going to win by a mile. Now Gigi, she's a little different. She doesn't grab you, but she steals whatever is in your first item slot. So when she reaches, make sure you hide. Her cooldown is 10 seconds before she reaches again. If I'm distracting, I try to make sure my heals are not in my first slot. If she grabs the item in your first slot, just look around for some junk candy nearby. If all your slots are empty, she just chases you like a normal Twisted. And Gigi is the fastest of all these grabbers, so she can be tough to distract. If you're distracting grabbers for the first time, let your backup Distractor take the commons so you can focus only on the timing of the grabs. Grabbers are really easy once you understand their cooldowns, but they're dangerous for new Distractors who have 3 to 5 other things chasing them all at once. Now I don't use this method technically, but shout out to Novelty, who is a great Distractor. He uses the sticker method. Your stickers have a cooldown of 10 seconds as well. So if you use your sticker with Goob or Scraps when they grab, you can know when they will grab again. And for Scraps, just know you gotta add about 5 more seconds. Multiple grabbers is a whole different story. We'll save that for part 3 because that can get wild. Shelly is actually simple, although she is very fast. If your loops are clean and you keep your movement consistent, she won't touch you. Depending on your tune and trinkets, you may have to run a little bit every now and then, but not very much. Honestly, my biggest issue is she slows down the extraction speed of your teammates with her confused debuff. So that just means when she's here, you have to distract a little longer. Astro's danger is not his speed, it's his tired debuff. When he sees you, your stamina regeneration drops by 75%. If you sprint while tired, you burn your stamina instantly. If you notice, your stamina regens much slower if the debuff is above your head. Unless you have certain combos. With Astro, you barely have to run. So the rule with Astro is, if you gotta sprint, only do it when the tired debuff falls off. If you follow that rule, Astro floors are pretty much kinda simple. Sprout is slow, but what makes him annoying is he drops tendrils on the ground. He drops one immediately when he sees you, then one every 10 seconds after that. He can only have 2 out at once. Something I try to do is be against the wall when it's close to 10 seconds, so I haven't dropped a tendril there. This is very important, especially in blackouts, so you or your teammates won't get hit by the tendrils and lose a heart. Another thing, when Sprout drops a tendril, you'll notice he pauses, so be careful losing aggro by going too fast or cutting a corner. Now Twisted V. When she sees you, she applies a slow debuff that cuts your run speed by 25%. This makes distracting her kinda awkward because you get slowed, especially when you're already being chased by some fast Twisteds. If you're rocking the basic trinket sets, try to distract her in straight lines and only sprint when the slow debuff wears off or when the kite gets too close. When the debuff is not over your head, you can sprint to gain a lead so you're not running when she slows you again. But there's a trinket set that will make this much easier to handle. Trinkets change everything about how you distract. In a serious run, most distractors today are running Dog Plush and Train Whistle. We already talked about Dog Plush in part 1 and how important that extra walk speed is. But Train Whistle is what changes everything. Train Whistle makes you completely immune to Twisted V's slow debuff. This means you don't have to worry about V slowing you down, and it also keeps you from getting slowed by Ichor Puddles. That's why I run this trinket set every single game. And if you forget to bring Train Whistle on a Twisted V floor, well, may the odds be forever in your favor. Blackouts make everything harder. You can't see grabbers, you can't see tendrils. You can barely see Blot. And if Goob or Scrap sees you before you see them, that's basically instant damage unless you find cover fast. So here's my number 1 tip for blackout floors. You must learn all the maps. Learn where every island is. Learn which objects give you cover. Learn which corners you can duck behind. Because the moment a blackout hits, you lose true visibility. Your survival depends on how well you know the map. Having your healer nearby while you collect twists in a blackout can be very helpful too. As you're gathering, sometimes you get that jump scare. Sometimes you forget to look up and Squirm grabs you. When I go out into a blackout, I am focusing on where my next hiding spot is, so I don't get attacked by a grabber. And always pay attention to the eye counter system, so you'll know if you get spotted by someone else or lose someone that was following you. And honestly, events make this even worse, like ice over floors or spring fever. I'll break that down probably in another guide because that's a whole different skill. There are 3 more annoying rares that can mess up your kiting: Glisten, Blot, and Squirm. Glisten has a meter that builds up quickly. Someone must reset his bar regularly. After the latest update, the larger your team is, the quicker the meter fills. You don't have to babysit him, but have your team keep an eye on him, especially in a blackout. If he happens to break early, he gets extremely fast if he sees you. At panic mode, make sure you know where he is when he pops. If I'm not the main distractor at the moment, I'll keep an eye on him just to make sure he doesn't attack my healers or extractors at panic mode. Blot can't be distracted, but in blackouts he's extremely dangerous because at times you can't see his hands, and you won't know where he is until he's already close. At panic mode, make sure your teammates call out Blot or make him inactive if he's on the way to the elevator to avoid damage to you and your teammates. You probably know this already, but his hands move spots around the map so be aware as he'll at times respawn near an island where you're distracting. Be ready to call out that you have to move somewhere if this happens so your teammates know what's up. And Squirm. Squirm changed one of the biggest habits as a distractor. Now you can't just watch what's behind you. Sometimes you have to watch what's above you. I am listening for that sound he makes, and in Blackouts, I'm looking for those two big, bright red eyes. If he grabs you and no one is on you, he's easy to shake off. But if you're being followed by Twisted, it will cause you to get hit. Also, try to make sure your teammates don't make him move. And if he does, have them call out where he is. A good teammate will make him move at panic mode if he's near the elevator, so you don't have to take an unnecessary hit. Woo! And that's the advanced distractor guide. Grabbers, mains, trinkets, blackouts, and everything you need to know to handle those dangerous twists in Dana's world. Part 1 teaches the basics. Part 2 teaches you how to handle the most dangerous twists. And Part 3, that's when things get completely out of control. We're talking multiple grabbers, tougher combos, Pebble chaos, panic mode, and surviving the kind of chaos that usually ends runs early. If this video helped you, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. A lot of work went into this video and it would really mean a lot. Thanks for coming out, and I'll see you in the next one.